This is Agatha Carter, and you're watching the Urban Wrestling Network.
What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? It's the OG Boricua Dandara, a.k.a. the Coquito Papi, a.k.a. Chef. I'm here with none other than Mr. LFC Podcast, the king himself, Mr. Mike, Mother and Larkin. How are you, my brother?
Oh, dude, it is a good morning. We are going to talk about this past Tuesday's event, LFC 31 Booty Camp 2, headlined by Salina versus Katie the Bombshell Forbes for the Booty Camp title. Oh, what a show it was Tuesday. Over 1,000 views on the pay-per-view, 1,000 buys. It was one of those ones where everybody was looking forward to LFC 31. LFC was back at the FSW Hall for Future Stars of Wrestling, a prominent building. You saw it in the background, two of the guys that came from there, Eli Drake and Killer Cross. And we've seen a lot of people be in that building for Impact, WWE, AEW, what have you. It was a tremendous event Tuesday night.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at what it was, I was like, all right, because I don't think they've used this venue before, have they?
No, they have used Samstown, which also a lot of the talents from Impact who have wrestled, they've done tapings there, and they've done the Nerd Bar. We have never been at the FSW Hall.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I dig this. I love the setup. It looked very good. I love the lighting, which a lot of people, they might be like, well, why is he talking about the lighting? Lighting is so key in this. Mm-hmm. We had at one point, I know we'll get into it, but we had a live animal in the building. Mm-hmm. Dude, this was a crazy card, top to bottom. I really enjoyed it. I think, were we 100% right on our picks, or were we around 80, 90?
We were about, so from start to finish, I think we were about, I'm going to say 80, 90, like you said, because there was a couple ones that we did get wrong. I think the one that we got wrong was the upset with Shelby and Jolene. I think I got that wrong, and I think the Crystal Wright one we got right. But yeah, mostly we got pretty much everything right.
Woo! We had a good one there. But listen, anytime we're together, I think that there's nobody who could do this better than me and you. You know what I mean? Like we just play on another. It's like Michael and Scotty, and I'll be the Scotty to your Michael. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I totally agree, and I love that analogy very much.
What we got, my brother? Let's get it.
All right. Now, first we'll start off with everybody got introduced, and then we also got the national anthem, done by Jackie Mack. The first time we have seen a national anthem being done by a lovely woman in lingerie, and I got to say, she killed it for the national anthem, Chefro.
Oh my God, did she ever? And I've never seen the national anthem look as sexy as this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I just felt like God bless America. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to run to the freaking closet, get a red, white, and blue shirt on. This was absolutely amazing, and how fitting for LFC.
Mm-hmm. My home, sweet home. Yeah, exactly. I will say this also, what was very interesting about this too, with the coaches side of things, because we did have Mr. Leon Hader for the black team, but Joel for the pink team with Jackie O as the assistant coach, the first ever coach to be coaching live from Zoom. We saw it around her neck. Joe Kane coaching live from Zoom, Chefro.
Dude, that was wild. I was like, all right, I'm digging this. It's different. It's new. Listen, we're still going through this massive, crazy, unfortunate pandemic. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And if you got to innovate, you got to innovate. So salute.
Agreed. And before we even get into the card, there were some announcements as well. We also did see Sarah Compton as the referee. Now, here's where I'm going to say this to people. If that name or that individual looks familiar, Sarah Compton was Razor, who was on the WoW Women of Wrestling, the revitalized WoW Women of Wrestling that we saw on Access TV, where Tessa Blanchard was the world champion. And we had Jungle Girl. We had a lot of girls that we've seen in Impact, from Adrenaline and Fire, Kiera Hogan and Diamante, who's now on Impact, Sassy Massey, who was Alicia Edwards, Havoc and Nevaeh, the list goes on, but she is from WoW Women of Wrestling, Chefro.
That's wild. I mean, listen, I keep, like, when we did this, and I previously did just a quick Salina De La Renta thing, mm-hmm. I keep trying to tell people, if you look at LFC and you're just like, oh, it's just a bunch of chicks in lingerie, mm-hmm. All right, well, you got to calm down, because the former NWA Women's Champion / former Impact Wrestling Champion, mm-hmm. Allison Kay, was part of LFC. Mm-hmm. Which is Sienna. We had Mia Yim, a.k.a. Jade, who was an Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, and she also went through NXT, and she's on Raw. So there are so many women that have dominated and been on other shows, like big primetime shows, that LFC it just promotes some of the best women there is.
Agreed. And another name I'll put in there, because you said it so eloquently there, Chef Ro, Roxy Roundhouse Michaels, the former LFC champion, a.k.a. Renee Michelle, the wife of Mr. Drake Maverick. She's been all over. She's been on WWE. She's been on Impact. She's been on AEW, man. She's making the way.
Absolutely. And the Shea girl, I always forget, I'm horrible with names.
Oh, okay. So I'll say this. Shay the Fox Mazzato, who did compete on LFC 31, who's a veteran there. Shay has been on Impact Wrestling. She's faced Madison Rain. She's Future Stars of Wrestling as her home promotion. She's been around the way too.
See, and I dig her because getting into this, because I mean, let's face it, you put me onto this and I appreciate it. One of her highlights is like she's actually like German suplexing one of these girls in a match, and I was like, what the hell am I watching? Right? She just slammed the shit out of her. Hook, line, and sinker.
That's the thing, man. When you have her going against likes of Feather the Hammer Haddon and Jessie El Toro Santos and Monica Flowerbomb Garcia and Andrea the Storm Ladoy, she is a human highlight reel. And a lot of people say, look at the size and the mismatch. But god dang, for someone her size and her strength and her toughness and dare I say her grit, she really puts on a hell of a performance for LFC.
I'm a fan.
Now, another thing I will mention before we get into the card, we also did get the announcements of the judges. Our judges were Trap Gambino, Whoop Dog, and Onyx, which Wow Women of Wrestling comes back because she was Bronco Billy in the original Wow Women of Wrestling, which we saw around 2001, the early 2000s. So hell of a judges for this round. We got Whoop Dog, like I mentioned, and Trap Gambino back for the third time. We saw him first judge at LFC 27, then at LFC 29, now LFC 31. What'd you think about our judges? And then we'll get into more of it. What do you think about the judges lineup, Chef Ro?
I know a little bit about Trap. Me and him have had a few conversations.
Mm-hmm.
The Whoop Dog, I did not know him. Unfortunately, I kind of stick into my 90s. I'm 41 years old, so I'm stuck in my 90s, 80s hip-hop, so I apologize. You know what, though? I'm going to tell you now. I like this vibe, and I really like the way he went upon his business. He felt like he understood what he was doing, and he felt legit. And I was like, wow, all right, Whoop Dog, I see you, Playboy. Onyx, I was new to. Is this his first one?
This is her first one being a judge, and I got to say, for Bronco Billy, I mean, that's a huge one for LFC because with her veteran as a wrestler and just her overall talents, she could go, and she's one, I got to say, for what she had her age and how she looks, man, she looks great. She looks fabulous.
Absolutely. And I was like, see, I watch a lot of them. I just don't pay a lot to the judges. So I was like, all right, I see what she's doing here. And I was like, I dig her, and it felt she'd been doing this. Is why I asked. I was like, man, she felt like she's done this a bunch of times. Yep. The only thing I'm gonna say about Trap Gambino, and I'm gonna keep saying this, is we'll get to it later, but I think he was absolutely bugging, and your shades are horrible, homie. Your shades were terrible.
We'll talk about that. Well, last thing I'll say, it's funny because you actually brought it up so eloquently once more, and I'll use that word. God dang, man, Whoop Dog. When I had Sean on the LFC podcast, we were talking about Whoop Dog. Now, I listened to some of his music. I like Chef Ro. I'm a 90s kid, and I am also very nostalgia when it comes to my rap and hip-hop tastes. I will say this. I'll equate it to what we have now, like Bad Bunny, who's on WWE. Did not know too much about Bad Bunny, but I respect the fact that he's taking it seriously and handling himself, and he's in one of the high marquee matchups going at WrestleMania against The Miz. So I look at it from a stance, too. Like, if you had someone who is understanding what his role is, and as someone like Whoop Dog, who is very much invested into the LFC product, and hey, man, he provided a song for Salina de la Renta when she came out. Whoop Dog's song was Salina de la Renta's entrance. So, I mean, he provided a lot to the product.
Absolutely. And is he like born and raised in Vegas?
I believe so. I believe he's local, yeah.
All right, so I gotta check him out because there's a few cats I like from Vegas that rap, and I kind of like their staccato out there, so I'm gonna have to give him a shot.
All right, then pass the Cavarcier, what we go and tell him, man. All right there, Buster. Anyway, let's get into the opening round match for Mr. LFC 31. We got Bella Inc. We got Audrey the Mongoose Monique. All right, let's start off by saying this. If anybody has not seen the weigh-ins, go back and watch the weigh-ins as well. Chef Ro, I'm going to say if you've watched the weigh-ins, we even saw it even start before the weigh-ins, not even at the event, with Bella and Audrey just going at it, man, bumping heads.
Bro, like, it's crazy because, and listen, I'm going to lower my mic down a little bit. This is what I do. I always admit my extreme biasness for Bella. It's not a secret. Anybody that's listened to anything that we've ever done with the LFC, I always admit it. So I follow her on her social media. I mess with Bella. I'm seeing all her little beautiful stuff on Instagram. She's going into the elevator looking happy as shit, right? And I'm like, oh, Bella Zinka's about to go get, to the weigh-in. I'm like, she looks like she's happy as shit. I was like, that's what's up. And these girls look like they had beef for 50, like, or 1,000 years. And they just wanted to rip each other apart. And I don't know where the hell this stems from.
Well, you also have the scenario of they were both in the calendar together the same month. You know what I'm saying? Like they shot together. Yes.
Okay. All right. I didn't know. That one I forgot about that. So I see what it is and I know I can say it, but I'm not gonna say it. But I'm pretty sure. But one of them thought, biatch, you're taking my shine. So I guess next time we see each other, it's time to pop off.
Hey, man, when you have Audrey Mongoose Monique, who we've not seen since LFC 22, where she got her eye at her with Shelly Aphrodite da Silva, and she won by disqualification. This is her second bout, and she was about ready to get in there. And you're going against the newcomer, who we did see in her debut at LFC Booty Camp in LFC 26 against Jolene the Valkyrie X. Bella was looking to make another dominant performance, and we were going to see Audrey try to get back in there and get into the win column and just come back and show why she is an LFC veteran. Like, she had a lot to prove, and I'll say this about the weigh-ins. Very, very smooth when it came to the weigh-in, but we did have its moments with Jolene and Shelby playing around, and we also saw this with Bella and Audrey just going at it. But I will say this, even before we get to the main event, I know we're bouncing around, we're shooting the breeze here, Chef Ro, but how about Salina and Katie Forbes getting into it at the weigh-in?
Well, I knew that was definitely going to happen. Selena's too much of a live wire to go eye to eye with anybody and just hold back. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know Salina De La Renta's work, she plays with nobody. She's going to say whatever she feels like. She's an absolute savage. And, Katie Forbes, I think Katie Forbes thought, I outweigh her by 20 pounds. I'm just going to, try to, like, manhandle or press her with my weight and size and make her shook. You got the wrong one, Miss Forbes, because that one she ain't folding. And we seen that Salina De La Renta was not afraid at all of Miss Katie Forbes.
That she was not, and I look at it from a stance too. Interesting fact and interesting tidbit here, Chef Ro. Do you realize that with LFC 31, Booty Camp 2, with this weigh-in that we had before the event, do you realize that this is the first weigh-in that we've had with LFC since LFC 25? That's a long time.
Wow. All right, no, I didn't even think about that. You know what I mean? Like, it was a good look though. It felt this one felt so prime. This felt prime time. You know what I mean? This felt like a big time pay-per-view. It really did for me.
Agreed, and I think that also is what adds to it. I mean, when it comes to the LFC and the weigh-ins, this is what you get. You get the feel, the nostalgia, the overall fight feel going into it. And AJ Kirsch does his thing as the MC and as the ring announcer as well. And here's what's interesting about this, Chef Ro. We'll get into more in the main event too. But there's a little bit of reunion for MLW here because Salina representing Major League Wrestling, AJ Kirsch, the former MLW commentator. Man, we got a little reunion of MLW in the main event.
Absolutely. And it's funny because they were kind of like taking little shots at each other on social media. So I thought that was hilarious. Listen, I'm an MLW fan. So to have MLW LFC on one show, I was like, let's get it.
Hell yes. And speaking of let's get it, let's get into this first bout. Bella Inc., Audrey Mongoose Monique. I wrote down in my Nizotes here, straight away we have Bella coming out of the gate with the kick. We got body shots. The memorable moment in the bout was they went over the table and she's just pounding the living crap out of Audrey on the concrete. We get back into the ring. We have a lot of more low kicks and ground and pound style incorporated with some arm bars and guillotines as well as a rear naked choke. And I got to say this, I'll put an image into everybody's head. The Sable with the pasties from the Attitude Era, 1990 Monday Night Raw. Bella's voluptuosity with her breasts came out, and we did see that. And then we finished it off with a triangle choke in the second round, 45 seconds into the second round. Bella Inc. is your victor. I'm going to say this right now, Chef Ro. From top to bottom, this was just a mollywop, and I think Audrey did get some shots in, and she did look good at points and moments in the bout. But my goodness gracious, man, we're talking about second round. Time was 45 seconds. Scissor choke, the whole 9, triangle choke. This girl wore her down. Bella Inc. gets the win. Whew, was she needed, because we did see her at LFC 30, Born to be Wild. Sturgis losing to Lauren the Animal Fogel. She gets the win here, and we'll talk about post-fight afterwards. But Bella Inc., Audrey Monique, your thoughts, Chef Ro, Bella getting the win.
You know, I thought that Bella would win. I thought this was going to be the fastest match of the night. I thought Bella was going to clearly just come out, just absolute Russia, with no disrespect to the other girl, because I felt that we do know that Bella came really back. She came back real fast for 30, you know, after having the baby and everything. And you know, her body wasn't right. Her stamina wasn't right. You know, it takes a toll on you. So I think she had so much to prove that this had to be Bella's fight. The other girl had some great spots in it. Not going to take nothing. Like I said, I'm not going to take nothing away from her. Watching this fight, I was enjoying everything. And then when I seen them go over the ropes, I was like, oh, shit. Like, this is bad. You know, they kind of just kept thugging and bugging like a street fight. And I was like, oh, all right. Like, these girls, I guess, did not realize they just went over the ropes into the announcer table, into the floor, and just keep throwing punches. And I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy, right? Like, all right, cool. Bella gets the W, which I think, and here goes my biasness, and I apologize to every LFC fan that's here, right? Mm-hmm. I'm admitting my biasness, but I think this win, with the way she won, should project her as the number 1 contender to go against whoever wins, and we'll get into Salina De La Renta versus Katie Forbes. I think she should be the next person in line to go after that booty camp champ title, or against whoever wins from Jolene the Valkyrie Hex. We'll get into that later as well. But I think this projects her going into those titles.
Oh, 100%. And then post-match, Audrey went after Leon Hader. There was still more brawl, and Bella put her in the choke for going to attack the coach. And I got to say this. She was like, that's what happens, bitch. You want to fuck with me? Come around and see what happens afterwards. I'm going to say that Chi-Town came out in Bella Inc. afterwards, man.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I try to tell people I'm a fan of Bella because Bella reminds me, not obviously image-wise, I'm a dude, but like that street shit, Bella reminds me of me. I think that Bella kind of has that I don't give a fuck, I don't care, and I'm going to choke you out, I'm going to knock you out, I'm going to stomp you out. I got no fear. She's straight ruthless, fearless, aggressive. Her whole demeanor is let's get it popping. And that girl made the wrong mistake. And you know what? She got put in the yokes in the feed.
Mm-hmm. And I look at it from a stance too. So like you said, and here's where it comes in. Like, if you get to know the lovely Miss Bella, like, very brutal, very honest, but as a person, she's a sweetheart. And I look at it from a stance. Well, if I look at it from
I was about to say, I love Bella. Bella's such a sweetheart. Like, it's when we do these and we talk like this, people might go, damn, this girl must be like a gangster or something. And I'm not going to say she ain't, but Bella Inc. has never came across to me as some kind of like real hood rat or nothing like that. She just comes off real sweet. So it's just non-believable. You know, the whole roster is a bunch of sweet women.
Absolutely. And what I was going to say in regards to Bella is when I had her on the show, I think what we did, and we talked about it, like the person, Jessie Lynn and Bella Inc., you know, the actress, the character, the fighter, like they're one and the same, but it's the volume turned up a bit notches when we get to see her as Bella Inc. So that's just who she is. And I think that's what really makes her stand out.
What we got next, brother?
Well, my dude, we are up to Vida Von Starr and Gemma Guillana. Vida Von Starr making her debut. We have seen Vida Von Starr in Ring of Honor doing her thing with Vincent, who was in the Kingdom, turning on Matt Taven. She's tormented Matt Taven on Ring of Honor, so we've seen her do some work there coming out of the Worldwide Dojo. I mean, you and the Ring of Honor Dojo, you got people like Cheeseburger, who has been with the likes of Jushin Thunder Liger training you. You got people like the legendary Sumi Sakai, who's been wrestling since '98, former Women of Honor champion. I mean, you have that background, and same with Gemma Guillana, we have her coming out. You know, this is where I actually go to you, Chef Ro, because you and I are both pop culture heads, and we like a lot of different genres of music, Chef Ro. So I'm going to say this. When the announcers were talking about, you know, she's She's coming back. She's looking to get the win. She's from Jersey, Rahway, New Jersey, and she likes the finer things in life. And how apropos that I mentioned this, 20 years later, John B's Pleasures You Like album turns 20, featuring the hit single Don't Talk, but there was a track on that album called Finer Things, Hit You With Some Love Tonight. I'm going to say this right now. Gemma, Jersey Babe Giuliana is the equivalent and the equate to that song, John B and the NAS himself, Nas, Finer Things, Hit You With Some Love Tonight. That's what Gemma's about, man, the finer things.
You know what? If we had video, you would see me smile. One, I'm a huge John B fan. If we ever, we definitely got to do another thing like this, like we did the last time on your show. But a lot of people who might not know, I am from Queens. I am from the home of Nas. So I hold Nas very special, dear to my heart. So when I hear that name, it reminds me of home. Absolutely. Here's my thing, right? Mm-hmm. Gemma looks like she's a mean girl, but like a mean, you know, those girls in high school, they're like the mean girls because they're the pretty girl or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, she reminds me of them, and I think there was a movie called Mean Girls, right?
Yeah, the legendary Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan and Rachel McAdams. Yep. Absolutely.
She kind of reminds me of those girls just in the LFC. It's so weird.
Well, I mean, we see that in wrestling today. I mean, the perfect one to equate that to is if we've seen her on AEW, man, Danny Jordan. She's got the book. I mean, that's what she is. Her style, her wrestling, her character, that's based off the Mean Girls movie. So if anybody wants to look up Danny Jordan, that also equates to that.
Absolutely.
All right, bro. Let's get into this because I'm going to say this right now. Excuse me. We've seen a lot of wrestling maneuvers in this too, both wrestlers. We've seen a lot of side headlocks. There were some head scissors in there. A lot of catch-can wrestling starting and out, feeling each other. There was a lot of double leg takedowns. And now I'm going to say this about Vida von Starr before I get into more maneuvers that I wrote down here. God dang, man. From someone who's done some work in the circus, the acrobaticness, the overall agility, the acrobats that we saw from Vida von Starr. My God, that woman is flexible.
You know, and before you go into the moves, I thought I knew about Vida von Starr. I thought I knew, you know what I mean? When you watch somebody, you think you know their repertoire or their arsenal, right? Mm-hmm. And watching this, I felt like, oh, there was like maybe like 4 or 5 spots that I was like, wow, I've never seen her do something like this. So I was like, oh, wow, okay. Like, and it's refreshing when you're a fan of somebody or you like somebody and they kick out something new, you're like, oh, that's what's up. Like, you know what I mean? Because you appreciate their work.
Agreed. And when it comes to Vida, what I love about her coming in, like she was taking it serious. And like you mentioned, like you think of girls like, oh, you know, LFC is just girls rolling around the lingerie. No, there's the credibility. And you have girls like this. And this is why I love a lot of the prospects coming in and talent that we've seen outside of LFC auspices. These are girls that take this seriously. And she took it seriously. She was looking good. We saw the tree of woe. We saw a modified crossface. They were working the arms. They kind of smacked each other on the booty a little bit because there was a lot of trash talking. What I loved is we got to see an armbar. We got to see the Muda lock by Vida von Starr, which I'm going to say this to a lot of wrestling fans out there. To equate it to what we see in wrestling, that was Tennille Dashwood, a.k.a. Emma's former finishing maneuver, that Muda lock, the Emma lock, referencing the Great Muda, the legendary Great Muda from Japan. We saw crossface. We saw single leg crabs. We saw modified surfboard, ankle lock. We saw the legendary Koji clutch by Koji Kanemoto, the legendary Japanese wrestler who we've seen Christopher Daniels use and a lot of wrestlers move, the Koji clutch. Very impactful maneuver. But at the end of the day, we saw it come down to a split decision, Chef Ro, between Vida and Gemma. The scores were Vida got 30-29 by Trap. Whoop Dog gave it 29-27 for Vida, and Onyx gave it 29-28 for Gemma. And then afterwards, we saw a lot of more trash talking from Gemma, which I'm going to say this was kind of her downfall a little bit here. The trash talking got her again. We saw it at LFC 29 against Sybil Starr. And Vida von Starr was your victor after the third round, man. Split decision. What do you think? Vida gets the win in her LFC debut. Gemma, Jersey Babe Giuliana doing her thing, but the trash talking costing her once again. Thoughts on the bout?
You know what? I appreciate this match because I thought that Vida was going to win hands down without even a question. Gemma just got to, I mean, maybe it's her age because she's very young. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the thing is. But here's my thing. If you're in a fight, win first, then talk shit. You know what I mean? Like, you got to keep control of the fight. You got to keep control of the points. You got to keep control of your opponent. This is not wrestling where points don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, this is a whole different fight style. You got to stay on top of your game. for all 3 rounds unless you knock her out, which she did not, or made her tap, which she did not. So, like, why are you sitting there and taunting when you should just be taking advantage and staying in control or keeping a guard? And listen, Gemma, you got to wisen up. You're 0-2 in this, and the more you keep talking, the more you're going to keep taking L's. And then the less, I care, because I'm trying to see girls who keep progressing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm an Agatha Carter fan. She don't got the best record in the world, but Agatha Carter will stay on top of you the whole time. Same thing with man, I always Tomiko the Temptress
Tajima. Yep.
Okay, I always chop up her name, and I think she's a beautiful woman. Once again, a woman who doesn't have a lot of wins, but there's no quitting her. There's no let me pause to look good or let me pause to talk shit. She just keeps fighting, and I think that's what keeps biting Gemma in the butt. And Vida looked amazing. Gemma looked good, but at the end of the day, you know what? I actually had this. I know it's got to come down to a judge's decision because no one tapped or anything like that. But I easily thought that this wasn't even close, that Vida won.
Now, I'm going to say this as well because I love you and you're my buddy. But when you're talking about chopping up names, I got 2 words for you there, Chef Ro. Minoru Suzuki.
A lot of people might not know about that. That's an inside thing because I'd be messing people's names up like crazy.
All right, so bottom line it, people. There's a New Japan pro wrestler. There's a legendary wrestler named Minoru Suzuki. Chef has a problem saying people's names, but that's his homie. This is the big homie. And I had to
the big homie, baby.
All right, one other tidbit before we even get to the next bout. There's something I did forget to mention. So AJ Kirsch brings in Holly the Lotus May, and she's not the interim prez anymore, Chef Ro. She is officially the LFC prez, and she is in favor of the no strikes to the face, and we're going to see possibly some more suspensions after what happened with Bella and Audrey the Mongoose Monique and what we saw later in LFC. But, dude, officially, Holly the Lotus May the LFC prez. Go ahead.
I love the Lotus.
Yep.
I love. Let me, if I had to repeat myself again. I love Holly the Lotus Mai. I'm so proud that she's the LFC president. And unfortunately for this woman, she seems to always have to be getting involved with some of the craziness that happens in the ring. But I love her. I think she's amazing. Former LFC competitor, now into the boss of bosses table. I am so with this. Congratulations, Holly the Lotus Mai, of becoming the new president of LFC.
Friggin' brother love Chef over here. I
love you.
All right, next bout, Lauren the Animal Fogel against Sarah the Beast Brooke. Whew, okay, where to begin here? So we start off hot here with this bout because, they're going against each other. They're feeling at each other. Then Lauren just comes out of the gate with a Guntrat suplex, and I'm like, good Lord. Then we saw some rear naked chokes. We saw them, again, working each other, the ground and pound style. There was a Bronco Buster that would make X-Pac smile from Sarah the Beast Brooke. We saw some arm bars. We saw some triangle chokes. There was a point in the matchup where Sarah the Beast Brooke had her in the guillotine. She was working on her from the ground game, and she thought she tapped. She let her go, but no. Nobody saw the tap. Sarah Compton didn't see the tap, so we kept it on going. And then Lauren comes out of the gate in round 2 with the pivotal bow and arrow submission. She had her down. She brought her up. The legs were on the back. The pivotal bow and arrow, the OG bow and arrow, a traditional submission maneuver that we've seen in pro wrestling. And Lauren the Animal Fogel gets the win in the second round, 1 minute and 15 seconds into it. But, the controversy was she thought she tapped. She thought she tapped, but we didn't see the tap. We get the bow and arrow. There we do see a clear tap out from Sarah the Beast Brooke, and Lauren the Animal Fogel is your winner in the second round, minute 15 seconds in. Chef Ro, Lauren the Animal Fogel, Sarah the Beast Brooke. Go ahead.
Holy smokes. This wound up being the match of the night. I thought it was going to be an opportunity of 2 others. This was match of the night for me. The tap, I did not see it. I don't know what she thought or what she heard or what she might have seen. The physicality that both of these women, did in this match was crazy. This felt like an old school barn burner, close the doors. It's me versus you. Nobody around. Let's just go ham. And this was badass. Lauren the Animal Fogel. I mean, if you see her flex, you see she's got guns, cannons, whatever you want to call it. Like, her physique is freaking amazing, right? But even with that, when she does some of these power moves, it feels like like there's no effort into it. Like she just can pick up whoever the hell she wants, slam whoever. You know what I mean? Like her. I don't know. I'm so impressed with Lauren the Animal Fogel. As the more we keep going on, the more I keep seeing her. This one here, I was like, at this point, Lauren the Animal Fogel, I think, is going to be either very soon or going to be projected into that women's title, the main one. Mm-hmm. I think she's going to be projected in that spot because of everything we've seen. And she's on, a big win against Bella last time. Let's not act like that wasn't a big win. That's a win that projects you. And then she got this win right here. And that bow and arrow was crazy. To lock her in like that, that was nuts.
I think what's great about it too is, and what I mean by saying pivotal and traditional wrestling maneuver, you don't see that a lot in professional wrestling as well. Like lately, you don't really see like a bow and arrow. But what's cool about it is too, like if you look at Lauren the Animal Fogel and her style, her go-to is the rear naked choke. But then when you pull out something like the bow and arrow, it adds a little more to the repertoire.
Did you think she was going to tap to the rear naked choke?
To be honest with you, no. I thought we were going to see a reversal, and we did, because we saw both of them lock it in, and they reversed them back elbows. So I didn't see her tapping, but I got to say I was impressed with Sarah, because I'm going to say this for any LFC fan out there. If you've not seen Sarah Brooke outside the auspices of LFC, the girl can go. She has a repertoire of her own, but I got to say right now, I would not take this as a L and loss. I think this would be another learning experience for Sarah, because I could see her coming back in the LFC in the future, because she did show a great ground game. She showed some great strikes and kicks, and I think this is just going to be the beginning of something new for Sarah the Beast Brooke, and see more of her in LFC.
Oh, no question. I think she had such a great showing that you have to run it back with her, because listen, she's also against Lauren the Animal Fogel. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like she's up against some jabroni newcomer that's never been in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, she's up against a veteran who beats people up. So she gets so much credit from me, because I was like, oh shit, she pushed her. She pushed Fogel.
Mm-hmm. That she did. And now I'm actually going to segue with what you just said, newcomers. So the next bout, and I know Chef is going to go ham on this one too. It is the VP Veronica Payne against veteran Jenny the Bloody Valentine, coming off 3 straight wins, Chef wrote. 2 against Tomiko the Temptress Tajima at LFC 27 and LFC 30, and 1 at LFC 26 against newcomer Jessica Sekmat-Vatira. Whew, okay. I'm going to put it like this. We started off a ground and pound again. There was slams in the corner, body shots to the midsection. Jenny the Bloody Valentine coming out of there with an STF. We saw an armbar. We saw some chokes. We saw waist lock, working her down by Jenny Bloody Valentine, showing that what she's learned from Raul Ramirez over at Catch Wrestling Alliance. We saw the head trap submission triangle choke. We saw a beautiful Thet's press off the top from Veronica Payne. And this is where it got a little bit iffy, because towards the end, we saw Jenny Bloody Valentine. Trap Gambino was talking some smack out there. Jenny came out at him. And then Veronica Payne just threw her out of the ring right into the judges' table. And then Jenny got into it with Trap Gambino. And then the judges, Onyx, comes out of nowhere, gets involved with Trap Gambino. Whoop Dog's over here like, you know what, I'm going to be over here. I'm going to catch you outside. How about that? Just like stay out of the way. And then we get more scuffling in the ring between the two. And the verdict and the victor and the overall outcome was Veronica Payne, in her debut in LFC, gets a win by disqualification. And that was your bout between Veronica Payne, the VP, and Jenny Bloody Valentine. And Trap Gambino got his glasses broken. Chef, your thoughts on the bout?
You know what? And I'll leave the glasses for later. But I was surprised at all the madness. I thought both women looked strong from the jump. I did pick Jenny the Bloody Valentine to win this match. This was my loss. And I thought she'd have more control, being that she's been in this position before, to get caught up in the hoopla kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, I can't believe she's going this way, or this is going to happen. Now, what's the deal with Trap Gambino, though, and her?
There was a lot of trash talking there. I think Trap was saying something I couldn't really hear, but Jenny just went ham.
That's where I was lost, and I was like, damn. When I talked to Mike, I got to ask him, is there a prior history to this, or it just something that happened on Tuesday night?
Well, this is just something that happened on Tuesday. I mean, we did see it at LFC 29 with Jessie El Toro Santos, and she threw her attire right at Trap. Boom, right in his face.
Yeah, she did.
So Trap has got that aura about him that really just that kind of it's like, you know what? No. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what? No. And people have that strong attachment. It's not a good attachment to Trap. Personally, I've gotten along with Trap. He's fine to me. He's always been very respectful of the product and just to me in general. But I look at it from a stance too. When you go against these girls, and I'm gonna say this right now, don't let a Leon Hader the whole thing after Veronica. What we saw was he was like, okay, well, why did my girl, why did my have to lose to get disqualified when Veronica Payne threw her out of the ring? Which, I mean, valid point. But still, at the end of the day, there was the big scuffles. That's that. Saw second round into it, 3 minutes. Jenny Bloody Valentine gets disqualified. The VP Veronica Payne gets the win in her LFC debut. Not the win I'm sure she wanted, but she got a DQ win in her first ever bout.
Yeah, I wasn't sure why, because I felt like Jolene the Valkyrie. I'm sorry, I'm so stuck on Jolene the Valkyrie Hex. I was just talking about her. Jenny Bloody Valentine was kind of engaged into that situation, so I was kind of a little like, wow, all right. She took the L. Listen, I get it. Things went crazy. I was surprised that Jenny Bloody Valentine got lost in the sauce. Being a veteran, she would allow that to happen. With the Trap Gambino thing, all I'm going to say is she did you a favor for busting up your shades. I thought the fight was really good. The antics was a little crazy, and I hope they run this one back. You know what I mean? I hope we get a part 2 to this, because this looks like it's going to be a good feud going forward. If we could run it back and finally get a clear-cut winner on who wins via tap out, or I don't want to say anything else like a knockout or nothing, but who knows?
And it's one of those things, too. We got two beautiful, strong women here. And for a second bout, I am all for it. And plus, you never want to get your first win with either a disqualification or anything of that sorts and merit. So I want to see a part 2 between them as well. And then we also got another newcomer in the next bout, as it was Crystal White against veteran Shea the Fox Mazzato. Shea coming off the loss to Danica De La Rouche at LFC 30 for the LFC Championship, which a lot of people think that Shea should be the LFC Championship, but it is what it is.
Shea should definitely be the LFC champion.
I know. Had to put that out there, man, because you went buck wild.
I definitely was in my feelings on that one, and I even had to dial it back.
I was about to say, but yeah, no, I agree. And when it comes to Shea the Fox Mazzato, my goodness gracious, the height differential here with Crystal White and Shea the Fox Mazzato. But god dang, man, that is the story of her LFC career. And she put on another banger. And Crystal White put on another banger here. I put in here, man, we saw tilt-a-whirl head scissors, Hurricane Rana. We saw a roundhouse kick. There were some kicks. There were some strikes. There was takedowns. Dude, my favorite part, two of my favorite parts, the giant swing by Crystal White. She gave her the old Cesaro swing, the giant swing that we've seen from years and years and years in professional wrestling. We saw an octopus stretch from Shea the Fox Mazzato. To put it to wrestling fans, I'll equate it to another former women's wrestler, AJ Lee, with the old Black Widow submission. My goodness gracious, these two killed it, and it came down to the third round, and all judges unanimous decision. In her debut in LFC, Crystal White gets the victory. Your thoughts, Shefro?
I thought this was a big loss for Shea. I did. I agreed with all the refs. I was surprised that Shea. It's hard for me to say that I feel like she wasn't prepared, even though I know she was. Crystal White, I don't want to take nothing from her. She came in. She did everything she had to do. You know what I mean? She wanted to make a name for herself. She made a name for herself. She wanted to dominate. She dominated. Both women look great. I definitely was surprised that Shea at times got dominated the way she was. You don't see her get dominated like that. And she definitely at times was just not on her game. And Crystal just did what she had to do. And I was so surprised because Shea, I think we both had Shea going over. And I was like, wow, I can't believe she lost. Like, this is the former champ. So taking back-to-back L's, this is a tough one to swallow. I'm curious where she slides on the rankings and stuff like that. But what a debut!
Agreed wholeheartedly. And I look at it from a stance too. These two could also have a part two, but my goodness gracious, man, for Shea, that was a hell of an L to take. But Crystal White showed her power. Leon Hader cutting that promo afterwards, getting all water on Crystal. This is a force to be reckoned with. Leon hyping her up. It made for a great visual and it made for a great bout between the two. And I got to say, give me more. Give me more. And now we move on to the next bout. Now, originally, Barbie Hudson, Platinum Fury, was originally supposed to be her opponent for Genevieve Hex, but she has the fear of the snakes, which we'll get into here. It is the return of Genevieve, the Sorceress Hex, who we last saw at LFC 27 take the L against Bella Inc., against newcomer Daisy Doomsday Ducati. Two beautiful ladies here, and I'm going to say this right now before we even get to the bout. That Python, Shefra, that Python, a tradition in LFC with Genevieve Hex. We've seen her come to the ring many of times with that Python. And I'm going to say this, me being the pop culture nerd that I am, very Britney Spears vibes. I'm a slave for you. So, Shefra, what'd you think about that Python?
You know what? That's wild that you said that because I didn't think that. When I saw that, I thought Jake the Snake Roberts, maybe because I'm older or something like that. But yep. When I seen it, I was like, oh, that's so much like Jake the Snake Roberts. But I get exactly what you're saying with Britney Spears, which is a better reference because she's obviously a female. But I'm going to be honest with you. Anybody that comes in to fight me with a freaking python, I don't even want them.
Be honest with you, looking at that snake and the fact that she was kissing, I'm like, could somebody just take the snake already? Then homeboy got the snake, and I'm like, thank God. But no,
can you imagine if you know how close that camera guy was? I would have been like, hey, you got to back up just a little bit, man. Just give me a little bit.
That's what I was like. I'm like, dude, you might want to back up because this son of a bunt gun has got his tongue out and they're kissing. I'm like, bro, that could be right for you. Like, back up. Keep rolling. What?
Yeah, thanks.
So we get into the bout. It is Genevieve. It is Daisy Ducati. My goodness gracious, her flexibility on that scissor, and not that kind of scissor, people, get your mind out of the gutters. The scissor hold, when she was flexible with her in that bout with a Genevieve and Daisy there, my goodness gracious, the holds, we saw the flexibility at play, we saw the choke, we saw the strength of both of these ladies with head scissors and takedowns, and pretty much the way I could put it, she won with an inverted triangle choke, and to equate it to professional wrestling, the code of silence, the finishing maneuver of Carmella that we see each and every week on SmackDown, Genevieve, the Sorceress Hex, gets the win over Daisy Doomsday Ducati. Hell of a showing by Daisy Ducati. I mean, the second round, 45 seconds into it. Whew. I like it. I want to see more Daisy Ducati. I want to see more Genevieve back. What did you think of this bout? Genevieve Hex gets a win after avenging her loss at LC 27 against Bella Inc. Go ahead.
I didn't know a lot about Hex, and I didn't know much about Ducati, so this was fresh to me. You know, like, I had a limited sample of Hex, and I didn't know much of Ducati. So I was like, all right. And watching Ducati, I felt that this is her lane. Like, I felt like she belonged. I was like, man, this girl feels like LFC to me. You know, if that makes sense. I don't know. But she just felt like she was just part of this brand for so long, and she was doing her thing. She moved around the ring. Both of them were their ring awareness was great. I think that a lot of the moves came out super clean. I was very impressed with both ladies. Not going to lie to you. I thought Ducati at one point should have won, and she kind of like fell off a little bit. And I was like, oh, girl, man, you had this where you needed it. And she just didn't close out the deal. And Hex came out on top. But I'm telling you, Ducati, if she gets a little more time, Ducati's going to rise up the ranks fast.
Agreed 100%. And when it comes to Daisy Ducati, and I think what you said that really I can relate to in your sentiment, Chefro, is the fact like she looks like she belongs, absolutely. And I look at it from a stance too. Like, here's what's funny about that. Tomiko the Temptress Tajima, I mean, when she was at LFC 26, she wasn't originally going to be there. She was substituting, and she became a fan favorite. Like, look at this. Daisy Ducati, she's substituting. She could be a focal point for LFC to come. Like, it's amazing just to see where you're destined and where you're, you know, when you fit on the card, and whether you're a replacement or you're filling in, you become a focal point, and it leads you to many much successes and endeavors in your auspices.
Absolutely. And let's be honest with you. Mm-hmm. You know, LFC is rising. You got your calendar. You know what I mean? Like, the calendar is dope. The numbers are great. This is a way for you to market yourself and do other things. I mean, we see that Agatha Carter does her body painting and her cosplay. You know, so many of these girls do so many other things, and they wrestle outside of LFC. So it's like, use LFC as your platform to grow as well. You know what I mean? Like, because this is an amazing platform to be on. And like I said, you have the opportunity to talk to a lot of these women. A lot of these women, they seem to work together outside of LFC when they do their modeling and everything. They all seem like they're very cool. So if the camaraderie is there, why not grow with each other?
Now, this is where I will segue to the next bout because Sheffer, you just segued so beautifully in that. I don't even realize what you just did. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't even know what I just said. You're like the wedding singer. Now you're about to find out, man, because you just put me on something there. All right, here we go. Whoa, feel like Black Rob. Anyway, digress. Next bout: Jolene the Valkyrie Hex and Shelby Paris. The debut of Shelby the Panther Paris. I'm going to say it like this, man. Like to segue to what Chef said about the outside of LFC and the auspices, we've seen her do her stuff with a big LFC supporter, an Ariel X for her evolved fights. Oh my goodness gracious, looking beautiful as ever is Shelby the Paris. But god dang, man, you got Jolene coming out there ready to fight, ready to scrap. This was a typical Jolene the Valkyrie Hex match. Before we even got into the bout, I'm going to say this right now. I want to get your comment on this before I name my moves and what we saw in the bout. Before that, she punched her in the boob before we could even start this, Chef Rowe.
Dude, what is up? She's smacking people's butts. I love her. I think it's so wild because there's such a playful side to her. But then when she gets in fight mode, she's like freaking Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Like she's just this super fun joke around. That ring bell goes off, and she's like this beast. I love her. I think she's hilarious.
Okay. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to have this instilled into your mindset. It's the Krav Maga. It's the discipline of the Krav Maga that Jolene has. It's like very military-like based discipline, like the Krav Maga. Look at what Krav Maga is. That's what Jolene has. That's why she's so disciplined with the strikes and the kicks. It's the Krav Maga, dude. So Jolene the Valkyrie Hex. It's like Chef put it. We saw a lot of butt smacking. We saw a lot of trash talking. We saw a lot of shots. And I'm going to put it right there. I put it like this when it comes to this bout. Strikes, shot to the boob, kicks, fondling of the breasts in the corner, shots to the corner, shots to the corner, hair pull, more body shots, and she gets the win. And we have a new finisher here. We saw it at LFC 30, and I'm going to say this right now. It is now called the Triangle Twerk. The Triangle Twerk gets the victory for Jolene the Valkyrie Hex in the second round, 1 minute and 11 seconds. Shelby held her own. She had a couple shots in there. Jolene got some shots to the head, a little bit of receipt for Shelby accidentally getting her a little bit in the face there on one of the shots. But god dang, man, Jolene coming out with another victory. We'll talk about post-match in a second here because this ties into a lot of what I want to say here. But let's first talk about the bout in itself. Jolene gets the win. Chefro, go ahead, and your thoughts on Shelby the Panther Paris.
You know what? I thought Shelby did a little better than I thought she would do. Jolene the Valkyrie Hex. I don't know if there's a woman in there that has she even taken a loss yet?
Well, I think the last time that we saw her lose, which is very interesting because she hasn't lost a lot, and Sean and I talked about this on the pod, LFC 27 against Monica the Flowerbomb Garcia. That was a DQ. That was it.
Okay, because I was like, I don't remember her losing. And she just dominates. Like I said, if you want to say it's the Krav Maga, you want to say it's whatever, she dominates on such a level that I was like, is she the longest reigning European champion as well?
Yeah, I mean, well, we had the first bout at LFC 22 there. Not LFC 22, I'm sorry, LFC 24, my apologies. And oh my goodness gracious, Slovakia, right? So she beats Andrea the Storm Pladoy to win that title, and she's held it ever since LFC 24. Yes.
Holy smokes. I mean, listen, who are you going to put in front of this girl to try to knock her off? You know what I mean? She's just running roughshod with that title. And at this moment, she might have more of a value holding that belt than the main belt, because of what her work is, what her reign looks like. I mean, I'm a fan of Jolene the Valkyrie Hex. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. I think she's absolutely amazing. But this was another freaking textbook Jolene the Valkyrie Hex. I'm going to dominate the entire match, and there ain't shit you could do about it. You know, like that's what I took from it. It was another textbook fight by her.
Now, the post-match was very interesting as well because we did see Jolene say, well, she wanted to be the champ. She thought she should be the champ. And where that comes from is she beat Allie Babydoll Parks, the former booty camp champ at LC 30. She wanted that chain, but unfortunately did not go that way because the booty camp title was not on the line. we'll see the booty camp title on the line in our next bout. But god dang, man, she's addressing Sean Donnelly, the CEO of LFC. She wants to be the champ. She wants to go against any newcomer. She's coming for the belt. She was very determined, and she was very, you know what I'm saying? She was very hardcore. She was very blunt. She was very honest in her sentiments. She wants to rule the world in LFC. And I got to say, that was very fiery. That was very spitfire coming out of the mouth of Giuliana the Valkyrie Hex after the bout.
Yeah, but can you disagree with her from what she's doing?
No,
like,
absolutely not.
You know, if at this point, I think if in her value and her run and her reign and everything she's doing there, if she says, yo, I want a shot, I think you're forced to give it to her because she's that good. She's beating everybody, and it's the money fight at that point. You know, she's kind of like the Conor McGregor. You know, you made it when you fight Conor McGregor, and I really feel that if you're coming into LFC, you know you made it when you're in a fight with me.
Agreed. And what I like about it, too, is also, I'm going to say this because we've discussed this with LFC bouts and her bouts in general. Like, the last bout with Ali Babydoll Parks was very competitive, and I enjoyed this because there's also had some competitiveness into it, too. Like, the one she had before that with Gypsy was an absolute squash, and I know that's one of your favorites, just watching Gypsy Top Shelf Bay get mollywopped. But it's one of the things, too, where you give her some competitiveness and everything, you're going to see a star. And I got to say, a lot of people were seeing stars here, Shelby Paris being one of them, and I love her to death, but god dang, man. But Shelby Paris is another one I'm going to say. We're definitely going to see her down in LFC down the line in the future, and I hope to see more from her, man, because she did show some impressive maneuvers and impressive spots. So I want to see some more of the Panther. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, she impressed me a whole lot more because when I look into a Jolene the Valkyrie Hex match, I'm just looking at a girl just getting thugged out and Jolene just looking great again. For her to have any kind of offense, for her to have big spots and everything else, I was like, oh shit. Like, you know, that didn't see that coming. So she did her thing straight up. She's another one that's got to be back.
And another one I will say is this is why I love you, and this is our overall friendship between the Chefro and I. The reason why I also bring up Jolene and Gypsy from LFC 29 is because that's what Chefro got put on to Jolene, and you saw some mollywopping in that bout. That's why.
Oh my god, dude, that was my introduction to LFC, and it's round one. They're on the rooftop. I think it was the 4th of July weekend one.
Yes. Yep.
And I'm sitting there. The girl starts like, I'll fight anybody. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, shit, all right, newbie. Like, you wanted that bad. The girl comes out with dental floss on her body, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, this girl's hot. And then they fight. The girl does like a flying fake dragon kick, and she eats it. Like, Jolene the Valkyrie Hex turns around like, bitch, what are you doing? And just starts manhandling her. And I was like, this is fight one of my LFC like fandom. Holy shit!
So go back and watch that LFC. You know what it is too? It makes me laugh every time I see it because that was a rough weekend for her. Because LFC 29, I'm sorry, that was LFC 28. Because you had a tough back in the nights, back to head. Excuse me. LFC 28 is where Jolene beat Gypsy. That was the squash, and then Lauren absolutely mollywopped her at LFC 29. That was a tough debut for Gypsy.
Listen, if you want to fight, you want to fight with the guard, you better come correct. And if not, don't. And don't think you're tough. You know what I'm saying? Don't think you're tough if you're not tough, because tough shit's going to happen. And I don't think she's built for the LFC. And that's not me shitting on her, or that's not me saying don't come back, nothing. I just think she took both ass whoopings. And I'd be scared if I was her to come back. I'd be shook.
I'm just going to say it right now, man. Shook. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. There I also said I'm also going to add hoo-de-hoo. So, yes, that's my thoughts on that. So, we'll get to the main event. We're stupid. Anyway, Salina De La Renta. Salina De La Renta from MLW. Salina and LFC against Katie the Bombshell Forbes. Now, I'm going to put an image in people's head. Now, with her dreads and how Katie the Bombshell Forbes came in, she reminded me of George Clinton and Funkadelic. It's not just the deep. Hold on, and I'm going to say this as well because I remember seeing this as a young man. She reminded me of the Ernie and Bernie. Now, for people who don't know who Ernie and Bernie is, those were the Jamaican jellyfish from Shark Tale. Whoa,
absolutely.
Man! Ooh.
Luca, look at this! Look at this, Luca!
Yes. Whoa, man! That's what it reminded me of. And I don't mean to make poke fun of her, but goddamn, man. With those dreads, I felt like I was watching Shark Tale or George Clinton music video, man. Not just Knee Deep. Hello. Oh, but Katie, that's my only shot. Katie the Bombshell Forbes comes out twerking like she does. Salina comes out looking like a badass. This was main event worthy. There was a lot of wrestling maneuvers. Here's what I wrote down. The Tree of Woe, a lot of butt in the face, a lot of breasts in the face, overpowering. There was a shove down. There was just double leg takedowns. But what really got me too is like the first part, like she's showing her butt, right? Before we even get into this, you know what I'm saying? Katie Forbes is showing the ass-ets. And then Salina had no love loss, no nothing for it, you know what I'm saying? So she just smacked her right in the face. We'll start it there before we get more into the bout. That slap to the face. No nonsense.
You know what? That's what I liked about this is Katie Forbes seemed like she wanted to make it like a spectacle, like an act. Mm-hmm. And it looked like it annoyed the hell out of Salina De La Renta, like, bitch, get your shit right. So when she was doing her little strip club shit and, you know, trying to get people to throw a few dollars at her, Salina De La Renta slapped the shit out of him, you know. But, you know, get your head right because we about to thug it out.
I would just like to say that is probably the first time and any time that you and I have done some shows together that I have ever heard strip club shit on a podcast. So I got to say that term, hashtag SCB, strip club, SCS, excuse me, strip club shit. Forget about
we do what we do, baby. We do what we do.
Forget about SCU, SoCal Uncensored, and AEW. It's some strip club shit. That's what it is. That's what it is. Anyway, moving on. So we saw that. We saw a lot of taunting using her voluptuosity, if you will, with Katie the Bombshell Forbes. There was a spot, well, I will say that she gave her like a booty drop, as it was called there. Salina De La Renta kind of did, like, for those who've seen Fit Finley wrestle, like that drop, that jump with the senton where it's like abdomen, you land on the abdomen. That's what she did, like a reverse of that. Think like the earthquake splash when the late great John Tenta would run into the ropes and then boom, drop it down on him. So we saw that. We saw, okay, now this is where we're going to talk about this because we've seen a lot of maneuvers. We saw the fire crotch leg drop, the guillotine leg drop from Katie Forbes, which is what Christy Hemme used to do back in TNA. But one maneuver, I have to say this to you because you and I were talking about this before we even did this show, Chef Ro. That running drop kick into the corner, followed by the miss of the cannonball, but still, that was some badass maneuvers right there. Talk about the drop kick and the cannonball.
Oh my God, dude! Like, we were talking about this. You know what's funny? I've talked about this with a few people already, and I was like, dude, I can't believe I seen that. It looks super money, crispy clean, and wow. I mean, you want to talk about Salina De La Renta going into her wrestling bag and like, I'm just gonna double drop kick this chick on some wild like, booyah, take that. And it was so fast. Like, it was like you were watching something and somebody hit fast forward and just boom. I was like, oh, snap. Like, dude, what a spot. This is one of those things that we're going to see on the LFC highlights for the eternity of the LFC, the life expectancy forever. Yeah, you know, that is a moment. You know what I mean? That is such a, it's going to always be a moment in your head. When you think LFC, it's one of those moments you remember.
Oh, 100%. And another thing I will mention that I did like, so there was a spot in the bout where Katie Forbes goes like Irish whip, come off the ropes, right? So Salina De La Renta counters she works on the arm, goes through the ropes, kicks her right in the face. And I'm like, okay, that was another one that had me like, woo, like that was a good spot. That was a nice little transition.
Now, I know there's no strikes to the face, and I don't know if I've heard anyone talk about it. What happens with that?
I don't know. Sometimes you got to let it slide, slippity slide.
Sometimes it just got to rock.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to say this right now, Chef Ro, and I think you're going to appreciate the sentiment. I think at that point in time in that bout, Katie Forbes went on a fantastic voyage. So anyway, Coolio aside, we did see more maneuvers from LFC with Salina and Miss Katie Forbes. We saw a double clothesline before we even got to the next round, which I thought was sweet. A nice little transition there. But then we get to the end of the fight. Katie Forbes talking about, she's mad because she's broke. Chairs coming out. Everything that we saw between the two, and I'm going to say this right now, went all 3 rounds, went the distance as we thought it would. But I will say this, at the end of the day, majority decision, round 3 gets the win, and this is where Chef Ro's going to get a little in his feelings. And I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to put it like that. You know why I'm going with this, Chef Ro? Because we're going to start with the judges. Trap Gambino said it was a draw, bro.
Dude, what is he thinking? Like, yo, Trap, we're gonna have to do one of these podcasts, me, you, and Trap, because I gotta ask Trap. I don't know what the hell he's thinking. What fight were you watching? You know what I mean? Like, was it because you got your whack ass busted glasses, like smashed up, you were in your feelings? You know what I mean? Like, dude, all I'm gonna tell you is focus on whatever you're supposed to be watching. Stay off your live. Stop showing yourself, because you got this so wrong. There was a clear winner, and your bullshit, answer could have messed up this fight. I'm not feeling that, Trap. You know what it is. I got nothing but love for you, dog, but that was horrible. And your glasses, once again, were trash.
Okay, hold on. Easy there, Tiger. Now, let me put it like this, bro. Okay. I was not a fan of that because, first and foremost, I love Trap too, but god dang, man, like, come on. Like, that was not a draw in the least. And I don't mean to be like that, but let's call a spade here. And also, I will look at it from a stance too. It's the little nuances. Chef, it's the little things in life, right? When they said draw, and Salina just goes, "What the fuck is a draw?" I died. I died when she said that.
Dude, because it's your main event, right?
No.
Like, here's the thing with these draws that are really bad for these kind of fights. It's your main event. There's a title involved. If you felt that there's a winner at all, just a little bit, like if I sat back and I was like, damn, maybe Katie Forbes took that one. You know what I mean? If I have that shadow of a doubt, or if at all one name pops up, I'm going with that name because there's a prize that's involved. It's not just like a regular fight or the first fight on the card and you're like, it could be a draw, it's whatever. There has to be a winner. And I don't know. I was not feeling it at all.
I will say this. I'm still caught up on what the fuck is a draw. Anyway, I'll get over that. But we also saw Onyx scored it 29-27 to Salina, and Whoop Dog 29-28 with Salina. So it's one of those things too where, oh no, I'm sorry. I think one of them said Katie. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, who cares? So I don't mean to put it like that, but Salina gets the win, Booty Camp title number 2. So Booty Camp 2, Salina is the new Booty Camp champion. Katie Forbes afterwards was not happy, Chefro.
What? Like, you lost.
I know. She was like really not pissed. She was pissed. She went to the back. She was unhappy. There was a spot also at the end too. I'm going to say this right now. Leon Hader got himself some booty, man, because there was fighting. Salina went after Leon. Leon's trying to get all around that and try. That was another one that really was really a headline, a highlight, if you will, of the bout.
Things got out of hand a few times in this card. I get it. There's a lot of emotion going on. If you got a booty feel and you snuck it in, that's cool. Don't get caught. It's not a crime if you don't get caught. But I mean, let's be honest with you. Like, I felt, and I said this before, I felt she won 2 rounds to 1, and that's on a possibility. Like, maybe Katie Forbes got that round. So just for shits and giggles, I said 2-1 Salina. I did feel 3 rounds she won them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I just felt she definitely won. And I give Katie Forbes credit. She tried to do the weight thing. She definitely tried to use her weight for her advantage, which is smart. I outweigh you. Let me use that. But it did not make that much of a difference because Salina De La Renta seemed to always be like what we always say. She was playing chess while you was playing checkers. It seemed like one came in, I'm going to use my weight. I'll dominate her. I'll slow her down. And the other one knew was coming and was like, I already adjusted to that shit.
Gonna say first and foremost, Chef, using the Training Day reference. I like that. You like that. You're using the reference against me. I like that. So, there was a point also in the bout that I thought was very funny because like Katie Forbes comes off the ropes with like her ass. And I'm gonna say this bluntly. It reminded me of this is taking it back to like 90s.
Rikishi?
Yes. No. What? No. I was not Rikishi. Not Rikishi. No, not the bonsai drop. This was forward, not backwards. So.
Oh, my fault.
She comes off the ropes. And what it reminded me of is because Doink the Clown used to do a maneuver called the whoopee cushion. That's what that was. That's what that was. That was a whoopee cushion. Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where Selena gets the win, rightfully so. Booty camp. She shoved it in Leon's face, shaking her butt, looking as only as she can look. And I'm going to say this right now. What also made me laugh, and it's the little things, it's the nuances. AJ Kirsch goes over to Selena to get a comment, and she just goes into the mic. No comment for you. Walks away. I loved it. I died again. I died again.
Dude, but you know what, though? That
Yeah.
made everything look great.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, everything had a purpose. Everything looked great. Um, all jokes aside, I think all the trap, Gambino, shenanigans, and everything else, I think all that matched in perfectly. I thought it was a great night.
Agreed wholeheartedly. And that was LFC 31 Booty Camp 2. If you guys have not checked it out, go and see the replay. It's on lingerefc.com and watch the weigh-ins beforehand because the weigh-ins was a lot of fun. Now, another thing I have to mention as well, because I know we're done talking about this show, but I have to say this to you because I know you've been enjoying and it's been very entertaining for a lot of people. For people who are new to Selena and Selena de la Renta, all in all, check out the latest beef and the entertaining back and forth that she's been having on her show and on Twitter with Alicia Atut of Ambi and MLW as well. We just saw the singing challenge now on Alicia Atut's channel, which Alicia won for after singing Somebody to Love by Queen, getting her Freddie Mercury on, while Selena de la Renta sang Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. She was not too pleased with that outcome, so now we are going to have a rap battle, a diss track, if you will, from Selena and Alicia. Are you looking forward to it, Chefro?
I am. I'm definitely looking forward to it because I know some of the lyrics to that song, and she's gonna murder her. What I will say is I give Alicia a poop a lot of credit because she kept it kayfabe, acted like, and you like what I did there. She kept it kayfabe and acted like she really has a good singing voice. I give her a lot of credit.
This man said Alicia a poop. Oh my god, I'm dead. Okay, anyway, check that out on Ambi's channel and just check out LFC. Selena is your victor. Top to bottom. Okay, now we haven't done this. Outfit of the night. Who are you giving it to?
Oh man, outfit of the night. I wanted to say Bella, but you know how I feel about the littlest things. It's not really an outfit; it's just sexy as shit. I'm gonna have to say. I was thinking Vida von Starr, but I'm torn between Jenny Bloody Valentine and Vida von Starr. I'm gonna go Jenny Bloody Valentine.
All right, you see, that was going to be my pick or Bella. And also, okay, I had a three-way tie. So mine was Jenny, Bella, and Vida. But if I had to pick out of the three, I'm going to agree with Chefro on this and go Jenny because it's just something about Jenny's outfits and just Jenny is just so. And that's my girl, JBV. But yeah, I got to go Jenny Bloody Valentine as well. I do. I got it, man. I got to go with the JBV.
Listen, we keep it honest here.
I got to do it. I got to do it, bro. I got to go with my girl, JBV, Jenny Bloody Valentine, for outfit of the night. Now, okay, we got to talk about this because you mentioned this. Like, what did you think about Selena de la Renta's outfit?
I was a little like, I was up and down with it. I was like, all right, I like the boy shorts. I thought she fitted nice. I don't know. Maybe that I didn't like the colors of it. I wasn't feeling it. I thought that she could have did something. Even remember the outfit that she had with the Puerto Rican flag on it?
Yes.
If she could have rocked something like that, I thought that would look so much better. Or maybe do something like a Harley Quinn or Poison Ivy. I thought that would fit her skin color perfectly. I was not feeling her outfit, and I love. I'm a big fan of Selena de la Renta. But her outfit, I wasn't feeling it.
I gotta say it was different, but I mean, I thought it was okay. I wouldn't say I hated it, but I'm just like, okay. I mean, it's nice, but I'm just like, I was expecting a little more. But I also look at it from a stance too. Like, I'm gonna say this, and I know you talked about it in your last show with the one and only BBTV. When it comes to Selena, the girl who is 24 years of age, going to be 25, with what she's accomplished with LFC, what she's accomplished with Major League Wrestling, what she's done outside the ring and inside the ring, whether it be valet, manager, executive producer with MLW, that girl and her young life is just killing it, and she's going to continue to kill it as someone who's 24 years of age, Chefro.
Listen, you know me. I come from a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
I've been with my wife 21 years already. I am all about women empowerment. I love that shit. I love when women are dominating in male-driven industries because, and not to try to piss every dude off, I'm a hood dude, trust me. But when I say I love watching women go above men is because for so long they've had to bust their asses way more than they should, and it takes so much more for them to get their credit, and if people want to label them something else, salute to every woman that's out there listening, that's busting your ass, taking names. Your bosses, you're going to be queens of the queens. I love it. Salina De La Renta is a young queen.
That she is, you know what I'm saying? And Queens, man. Not just Queens being your city and you rep your city.
Always, baby, for life, baby. Queens, baby.
When it comes to Queens, all women are queens and all women are a work of art. And Salina De La Renta is an absolute work of art. And before we put a bow on this, I will say this. Boot! Boot! Katie the Bombshell Forbes! You know what I'm talking about! Anyway.
Let's get it.
This has been the LFC 31 Booty Camp 2 review for Chefro. My name is Mike Larkin, and we'll be back with you guys in June and some August. We got 2 more shows coming up, one in June in Vegas. Then we got Sturgis coming back for the summer motorcycle rally, Sturgis, South Dakota. We'll be back with some more LFC reviews and LFC audios here on the Urban Wrestling Network. Chefro, say peace out to the people.
Ladies and gentlemen, for myself, everybody that's involved, we're going to be out of here. Deuces.
Peace.